All right, we're rolling again. So I guess with the new year approaching, I probably should go over and discuss goals and the quote of winning, right? Because many people have different interpretations with that and what that's supposed to mean, and achieving things and trying to accomplish things, right? With the new year ahead, New Year's resolution and all that. Again, just throw my 2 cents into this. Not a psychologist, not a psychoanalyst, not certified in any of that, but I believe I just studied some stuff to maybe give my opinion on something somebody's willing to take it. So I guess we'll just get right into it. I guess the first point is trying to one up somebody, because some people actually view this as winning, right? When you one up somebody. Uh my interpretation of one up is when you get the better of someone. Now, this could be in like competition, or when you're trying to put somebody in front of you to like set a standard for yourself. That's good. I want to point out that that's good. There's nothing wrong with trying to, I guess, one up somebody in terms of like trying to put a standard right in front of you, right? But here's where it kind of gets a little bit toxic. It's like when you become overly obsessive with somebody, like to the point to where it's not even about you anymore. It's all about them. And anybody can really view this in a way that's selfish, but when you interpret the right way, you see that guy walking there. But when you interpret the right way, selfishness, when put in the correct format, can actually help you. Most people, when they think of selfishness, they think of it in a way that's self-destructive, right? Like you try to put other people down, and you try to like take shortcuts to get ahead of others, or you try to, I went over in the first video, you try to like put other people down to put yourself up, to make yourself seem like something that you're really not. But here's the thing. When you try to make it all about you and not all about them, it's how can I put it? It's something that is very powerful. I believe you can use it to your advantage. And here's what I mean by that. When you have enough self-respect, again, making it all about you. When you have enough self-respect to not give in to those toxic traits, and you can look it up, and everybody knows what a toxic person is. Like a person that takes shortcuts, other people that like rub stuff in to let people know that, hey, I'm the big shot here, I'm the big boy, constantly criticizing, putting down people. And there's nothing wrong with like constructive criticism, right? But I think we all know what it looks like when a person is just criticizing all the small stuff to make a person seem smaller than what they are, right? When you have enough respect not to do that to anybody, and to carry yourself in a certain way, to not give in to those toxic behaviors and traits, you're gonna see that not only helps you in like competition, whatever standard you're trying to meet, that also helps you in so many other areas. Because listen, people, when it comes to competition and standards, it's really more of a sense of that, you're not really trying to win, I guess you can say, because if you're trying to win, you're kind of missing the whole point of any competition or meeting any standard. The real overall reason behind anything that you do is to really just better yourself. I believe we do lose sight of that a lot, because we become so focused on the competition, or the people around us, that we become jealous of our own insecurities, and we try to we try to like verge off the path a little bit, and that's not really what it's all about. See, it's always been about you. It's always been about you, and when you put that in the right format, you can not only how can I put this? You can not only better yourself, but you can better other people around you. It's something that is so powerful that people would see you in a different light from other people, just how you carry yourself. But also, I should know, you will also make enemies, because again, everybody has their own insecurities, right? When they see a person carry themselves a certain way, you're gonna make enemies. You're gonna make enemies regardless. So you might as well make enemies from doing the right thing and bettering yourself, right? Because overall, that's the whole point to anything, just bettering yourself. And that kind of bleeds over into the second point, is that there is going to come a point in time where you do get overwhelmed, or you do get to a point to where it seems like there's nothing you can do. It's just like you're almost just going through the motions, almost, right? You're burnt out. That's another term for it. Or maybe you're just gonna look stupid. Somebody put you on the spot and you're just looking stupid, right? Like you have no idea what to say. You're totally in shock. And here's how you respond to that. Because, and I say how do you respond to that, but I mean in the moment you're overwhelmed, right? So there's really nothing you can do. But this is more something you can do after all that's being said and done. I'm just keeping it realistic with you guys. There are just some moments where you're just gonna get overwhelmed. You're gonna look pretty freaking stupid and you're gonna look pretty freaking dumb. But, and I'm telling you right now, there's no way to avoid situations like that when you're trying to constantly develop yourself and constantly trying to get to that next level. There's just gonna be experience like that you're just gonna have to endure, right? It happens to everybody that tries to take that path of self-development and self-help. But in any case, it's all about, in those experiences, they expose who you are, right? And that's very important. But the even more important thing is how you respond to that. Because as the experience exposes who you are, how you respond to that and what you do after that exposes who you choose to be. So you see, you have to kind of take away the whole, I'm this notion of a guy that can always have the answer to something, or somebody who, is always gonna, ace this test or whatever, or somebody who's always gonna run this timer, or not, I said timer, the guy who's always gonna run this mile, or whatever you're doing, right? Whether it's competition or trying to meet a standard. When you don't do that, or when you're in a situation where it seems like everybody's better than you, or when you're in a situation where somebody tries to put you down and they even succeed, because let's face it, you're not always going to win. And again, you're not trying to one up anybody, right? You're only trying to focus inward on yourself. You got to know how to respond after something like that happens. So the best way to respond is always best to keep in mind that you're a human. You're going to make mistakes. You're not always going to have the right answer. You're not even going to look like the most dominant person in the room all the time. So that's one thing you need to realize right off the bat, so you can respond properly. Another thing is that you can come back from almost anything, right? Or you can overcome almost anything. And the way you do this is to not make it about anybody else. Make it about yourself. When that person put you on the spot, made you look stupid, did they actually have a point in what they were saying, or were they just like somebody who was coming from a place that was of insecurity, so they try to put you down, right? So maybe you shouldn't really take anything they say seriously. After all, anybody can make up a story from nothing. Anybody can make something seem like something that doesn't really mean anything. Any little thing that happened that really means nothing, somebody can blow it up and make it seem something so huge. So that's something that you really need to look at. So if somebody is constantly criticizing you, it's important to note that you can brush that off with anything. You can, because in the end, it's all about you. Like, if that problem is big enough to where it's your concern, then that's you. If it's not, and somebody's trying to twist your mind around to make it something that it isn't, you need to look at that and study it, and see if it's something that's actually worth your time in trying to indulge, or if it's just BS. So I just want to put that out there. There are some people who are going to comment you and try to attack you, or you're just going to be in moments where you get overwhelmed. But also in those moments where you're overwhelmed, or the mental stress is too much, again, when that's said and done, like, what do you want to do? That's time for self-reflection. Are you actually going to go out of your way to, like, achieve this? Or are you going to try to pick it up and do it again? Or do you really want this like you think you do? Because some people just aren't meant for certain things. And I know that is probably something that's not really popular to say, but it's a true thing. Some people don't really navigate or gravitate to certain things like other people do. They tend to do things in certain ways that probably aren't really all that popular, but to those specific people that do gravitate toward those things, it is just as attractive as what the other majority are doing, if that makes sense, right? So say if let's say this is a good metaphor. I say a wrestler that yells a lot and talks a lot. You know, he evokes a lot of energy. You know, anybody that saw Hulk Hogan's promo or any of Ric Flair's promos, you know, they were over the top. You know, they were guys that always yelling. Now, anybody that knows Jake the Snake Roberts, right? He's the guy that, you know, freaking, you know, he would just be in his tone and his delivery and the way he would describe things. He was very engaging. So think of it like that. So here you have like one person that does one thing really good, and then another person who does something that not a whole lot of people do, but it's just as attractive, and to some people even more attractive, right? So it's all about what what you gravitate towards, and just remember that it's not really about winning. It's more about you just having the balls to do it in the first place, right? Because that's what it really is about, just that peace of mind from doing it. And please remember, people, don't I think that covers most of what I wanted to go over. But please remember, people, don't talk as if you're going to be doing this forever. Don't talk as if this is going to last forever. And, you know, don't go about things as if, you know, you're going to last forever. Remember, you're a finite. You have a certain thing you want to do. And just remember, and this is what makes, again, I have to put this out there because, you know, of what I just said, like, people are going to view that as something negative. It's really nothing negative when I say you're not going to last forever, right? It's more of a thing of empowerment, because that, I believe that is the only true way for people to show who they really are and to see what they really stand for. And, you know, because now they have fate itself telling them like everything's meaningless, right? So what does this really mean to you? Are you going to make that relevant, or are you just going to give in just because you have everything telling you that you shouldn't do it in the first place, have all the reasons to tell you like, well, why you shouldn't do it in the first place? What do you mean to it? Because at the end, you mean something too, right? Or maybe you don't after saying that, but I mean, in the sense that to show how resilient you are, how powerful you are, how much you don't really give a you know what about what fate has to say about what this world has to say about it. Are you still going to do what you want to do to, you know, put your work out there to still be who you want to be, you know? Because in my mind, I believe the best way to show that is like for everything to tell you how meaningless it would be. And that's the moment you really choose who you want to be. That's my take on it. That's just my 2 cents on it. So I believe that goes over everything I want to say about the quote unquote winning, because a lot of people have different interpretations of what that is, and a lot of people have different interpretations of what selfishness is. I just want to put my 2 cents out there on what I think that is and what I think it actually looks like. And if you made it to the end of this video, I thank you. I thank you a lot for, you know, giving me a piece of your day and letting me speak. I think that's all I have.